by Deborah J. Reeves. This is Chapter 31, Taking Sides. As always, all the rights to the book and to my presentation of it are reserved. Take that seat. Your burdens don't fit in the chair, so they had to stay outside the door. But we're very happy to see you. Be comfortable, and I'll begin. Chapter 31, Taking Sides. Things changed that day. It was only then that Paulette and Marie noticed Uncle Aki standing at the entrance to the room. Marie looked up into his sad eyes, and she knew that she would be just fine. She excused herself and went to her room, and Paulette yelled after her, "We are not finished with you, you brazen hussy." Marie kept walking. From her room she heard Paulette in histrionics. She heard Aki's murmured responses. She heard Paulette screaming and Aki's soft tone in reply. She had no idea what he said, but eventually Paulette stopped yelling, and in a strangled voice she said she was going out. She slammed the door behind her, and she did not return for dinner that evening. A little later, Uncle Aki knocked on Marie's door. He stood there looking older than he had ever appeared before, and he invited her into the salon for conversation. Marie started with an apology. "Oh, I'm so sorry to bring this on you." Aki looked taken aback. He stood to his feet and he looked down at his niece. He replied, "You, my darling Mary Claire, have nothing to apologize for. I should apologize to you. I ripped you from those you loved to bring you here. I chose that school. I know that young man's father, and I've always known that he was a snake." It was then that he told Marie of Bertie's warning letter. He told her that as soon as the school called, he'd left his office to deal with the situation there. "You and Bertie have made the right sort of friends, and they were willing to stand up for you. They risked so much standing up against those bullies, and I will never forget it. They told the truth, and that risked a lot in a place that's built on snobbery and social class. I repeat, you have nothing whatsoever to apologize for. I hope you'll accept my sincere apologies, not only for what happened at the school, but also for the unconscionable behavior and words of my wife." "Thank you," Marie whispered, and she asked, "Bertie wrote to you?" "Yes, that young man loves you. We share that bond," Uncle Aki said shyly. Then he perked up and he said, "Paulette will not be here for dinner, so let's go out. I can get us a reservation at the best restaurant in town. Would you care to accompany an old man to dinner, my dear?" Marie smiled broadly and nodded. "Go get dressed and we will leave in an hour." When they went to the lovely restaurant, the maitre d' greeted Uncle Aki warmly and rushed to conduct them to a nice table near the windows. On the way to their seats, they walked by Damien's parents, seated at a table not far away. Damien's mother tried to make conversation with Uncle Aki. Marie had never seen him snub anyone before. The woman tried to make apologies to Marie for the misunderstanding when her uncle refused to speak with her. Uncle Aki spoke quietly to the maitre d' and asked if they might be seated at the other side of the restaurant. Turning to Damien's mother, he said, "I have known you for many years, and I never anticipated having you treat my niece or I with such disrespect. If you wish to ameliorate these unconscionable events, you should inform your social circle that none of the blame lies with my niece. Should I hear the slightest rumor against her, I will take prompt and decisive action. Please inform your husband that I no longer wish to do any form of business with him. Paulette came back late that evening. In the morning, she was subdued but polite. She never again raised her voice to Marie. She treated her respectfully, but she never invited her out to lunch again. They never went to get a manicure together, and that was fine with Marie. Uncle Aki always treated Paulette with consummate politeness, but he had very little to say to her, except for the minutiae of the household, in all the time that Marie lived with the two of them. Marie never had to deal with Damien at school again either. He and all his bully friends went to the second best school in Paris, which was down the street from Marie's school. Whenever anyone from Marie's group was there in the same place as Damien's, they did not bother with them. Damien's group usually left without delay. When Marie next wrote to Bertie, she thanked him and told him that she was fine. She made a joke about the karate class she had attended with him. I hated it when Papa made me go, but please tell him thank you. It came in handy. That jerk sure did not expect me to fight back. It was sort of satisfying to watch him crumble to the floor. Aren't I awful? She wrote. She told him how great Uncle Aki had been. She told Bertie all about what Aunt Paulette had called her. She wanted to know how it was that Bertie knew so much about her life. In the return letter, Bertie simply told her that a guy had to have some secrets in life, and then he signed the letter with 22 X's and O's in places of kisses and hugs. Marie grinned as she refolded the letter. Even when the world is topsy-turvy, she reflected, Bertie is always there pointing the way toward the light. Even a little mindless seed can find up, and she decided to look towards the light and thrive. That's the end of today's chapter. That was chapter 31, and the next chapter is 32, End of Term Surprises. Please come back. I'm sincere when I say it's just not the same without you. Your friend Deborah.